interest ho yun.
So kung sa halip na i-reiterate niya, i-deny niya yung naunang sinabi, kung sinabi niya na hindi ko talaga minimin yan or may sinabi siyang maituturing na pabor sa kanya, iba po yung pagtrato nyo sa ganyang klaseng pahayag sana.
Baka maging iba, Your Honor.
Okay. So, ano po yung diferensya at saka halaga dun sa bigat na binibigay ng batas dun sa admission against interest?
Well, pinapakita ho rito in the natural order of things, hindi ho i-admit ng isang tao yung isang bagay na ikakasira niya o na ikakaharap niya sa isang paglilitis, something like that. Kapag ho inadmit ng isang tao yung isang bagay na ikakasira niya, maliwanag na ginawa niya yon, sinabi niya yon, at determinado siya sa mga pangyayaring yon o porsigido siya sa mga pangyayaring yon.
So masasabi po bang mabigat o napakabigat ang diferensya, ang halaga na ibinibigay sa isang o sa ilalim ng batas ang isang admission against interest?
Yes, Your Honor. Opo.
Okay. Panghuli na lang po, Mr. Witness. Bakit nga po pinaparusahan ng batas ang grave threats kahit pa hindi natuloy sa physical act?
Well, Your Honor, for purposes of peace and order among the populace, pag hindi ho in-address yung speeches o yung utterances na magka-qualify as grave threat, magkakagulo ho yung mga tao. Pwede na lang ho sabihin kahit na sino na papatayin kita pag ito nangyari, gagawin ko to sa iyo pag ito nangyari. So I think the wisdom of the law is to avoid the disorder, the anarchy, and the chaos that it would create, Your Honor.
So yung sinasabi niyong wisdom of the law ay hindi lamang sitahin o parusahan yung isang bagay na tumuloy sa physical act, kundi mag-serve ng deterrent para gawin
Yes, Your
ng
Honor.
taong iyon or ng ibang tao,
Yes, Your
yung
Honor.
grave threats?
Pwede po yun, Your Honor, to serve as a deterrence, Your Honor.
So may preventive na value din nakikita kayo
Yes po, Your Honor.
bukod sa curative.
Opo, Your Honor.
Alright. Salamat po, Mr. Witness. Salamat po, Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Senator Judge Antiveros. Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo, thereafter Senator Judge Alan Cayetano before the recross of counsel for respondent, if any. Senator Judge Tulfo, you may proceed and you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Mr. Witness, aware ba kayo at one point in time, I just don't remember what date was it, na pinulled out yung certain numbers of security personnel ni BP Sara?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the news, may nakita po kami noon.
When was that? When did it happen?
2024 yata, yung 75 PNP personnel
Correct.
from BPSPG, sir.
Was that before the utterance of BP Sara sa press con or after?
Before, sir.
Before.
I think that's before, sir.
So would it be possible na because of that, nakapag-isip siya na meron threat against her life because yung security niya being pulled out and walang binigay na reason kung bakit, kaya maaaring iniisip niya na, well, medyo sabi nga sakali na praning at
Very much possible, sir. Po, yun po.
but hindi niyo ba inimbestigahan bakit na pinull out yung security details niya?
May nakita ho kami, sir, doon sa November 26 na video, kung nalimutan ko lang yung timestamp niya, may sinasabi siyang issue sa security niya, doon nga sa BPSPG, parang from military attached unit, ginawang under na ng Presidential Security Command. I'm not familiar with that. So, doon ho yung...
Okay. Sino pong nag-cause ng pull out? Sino pong nag-utos? Saan galing yung utos?
Hindi ko ho siya masyado. Pero I think part ng reorganization, Your Honor, ng PSG, if I'm not mistaken.
part ng reorganization. So, ilan po yung na-pull out? 75 na
Hindi ko po alam
personnel.
kung yan yun. Ang sinasabi ko po, Your Honor, yung dating BPSPG is under ng attached unit ng Armed Forces of the Philippines, kung di ako nagkakamali. And then, inilagay na siya sa ilalim ng Presidential Security Command. Yun po yung sinabi ng Vice Presidente during November 26 na security threat dahil dun sa event na yon. Yun po yung tiningnan din namin yan. Pati nga yung 75 personnel. Kaya lang again, hindi po siya sufficient na mag-establish ng apparent violation of any criminal offense. Kasi nga, para siyang normal na function ng agencies and departments.
Yeah, Mr. Witness, yung sa akin na kasi yung pag-pull out ba ng security, was it sudden? Did it, ano yung naging dahilan? At kanino galing yung order para i-pull out yung ilang numbers of security details niya, particularly PNP, and then sabi nyo nga, yung sa PSG, nabawasan din ba base sa inyong investigasyon? Bakit nga po nangyari yon?
Yung sa
Anong nag-trigger noon?
Opo, yung sa 75, ang naalala ko po sa news, parang inilipat ho sila, Your Honor, sa Manila kasi mayroong issue ng kailangan nilang i-augment dahil may peace and order issue sa Manila. So yun ang nakita kong na nasa news na ginawa ng PNP o reason ng PNP bakit mayroong ganong pull-out. Then nung nakita ko namin, ilan na lang yung natira sa Vice Presidente. Nung chinek ko namin yung news, yung per record ng COA, if I'm not mistaken, meron pa siyang 335 na security personnel.
So marami pang naiwan.
Yes po, Your Honor. And
Okay.
in fact, kung di ako nagkakamali, narinig ko po yung sinabi ni Honorable Boying Rimulya na yung bilang na yan, mas marami pa doon sa bilang ng mga security personnel ng Presidente. So nakita ko namin na hindi siya sufficient para maging valid basis ng investigation. Hindi ko katulad dito sa threat against the President na apparent po yung utterances na nangyari.
Okay, dalawang katanungan na lamang, Mr. Witness. So, base sa inyong investigasyon at karanasan, ilan ba dapat ang security detail ng isang Vice President?
So, sorry po, Your Honor, wala po akong idea kung ilan po dapat yung...
Last na lamang. So, nung na-pull out yung ilan sa mga security personnel niya, sabi niyo nga 75, right? Sa PNP and then meron pa atay sa PSG. Nagreklamo ba siya? Sa inyong pagkakaalam?
Doon sa November 26, Your Honor, I think ang isa sa issue niya na may threat sa security is yung paglipat ng BPSPG from attached unit ng AFP na maging under siya ng Presidential Security Command. Yun po yung narinig namin. Pero yung dito sa 75 personnel, insofar as I'm concerned, wala akong nakita sa reports, sa news, sa social media na nagreklamo siya na nawala yung 75. Pero baka maliho ako, baka mayroon akong hindi nakita. Pero insofar as I'm concerned, wala akong nakita sa news na nagreklamo siya dun sa 75 transfer ng PNP personnel from BPSPG dinala dun sa Manila, Your Honor.
At hindi na siya nag-request ng augmentation o dagdag dun sa mga nawala na security detail?
Mukhang hindi na po, Your Honor. Wala ko kaming nalaman kung may ni-request ba siyang dagdag.
So is it possible na dahil doon sa pag-pull out ng security details, nasabi ko na kanina, natanong ko na again one more time, na yun probably ang tinitingnan na reasons ng mga sumusuporta sa kanya, siya or anybody sa circle niya na eto na siguro yon.
Tama po kayo, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Senator Judge Alan Cayetano, you have 2 minutes, sir. You may proceed when you're ready.
Sir Presiding Officer, dear colleagues, susundan ko lang po yung kay Senator Risa, Senator Judge Risa at Senator Judge JV at yung ibang nagtanong sa admission against interest. You stated this already, but just for the record, you viewed the whole video, right? The whole 2-hour video.
The November 23,
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Yeah, isang beses, sir.
Isang beses lang.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how many times there has the Vice President made admissions against her interest?
No, sir, ang tinutukoy ko po ang admissions against interest doon sa November 26, sir.
No, sabi mo yung November 23 din na ayaw ng defense gamitin contracted, so yung kinausap is also an admission against her interest, di ba?
Di, sir, ang sinasabi ko po ang admissions against interest, yung November 26 video po, sir.
Na sinasabi niyang totoo yon at hindi niya
Yes,
sinasabi.
sir.
Okay.
Opo.
So, doon sa November 23, may nakita ka doon na admissions against interest.
Insofar as I'm concerned, na nireiterate niya.
Hindi, not reiterate. Siguro, para malinaw, in your mind, or as a lawyer or as an NBI agent, what is an admission against interest?
Yun nga po, yung ini-explain ko po kanina. Ito po yung isang bagay na ginawa ng isang tao na...
Hindi ginawa, sinabi.
Sinabi
Kasi
ng,
it's admission eh.
Apo, sinabi ng isang tao na ikakasira niya, but then, instead of denying na sinabi niya yon, inadmit pa niya ito, nireiterate
Okay,
niya.
very clear yon. And you and Agent John Mark Kalilong said that the basis of the investigation was the November 23 video, the basis sa inyong affidavit of investigation sa nag-file ng kaso is certain portions of the November 23 video.
As well as
So,
the November, as well as the
As well
October
as
18,
other
sir.
evidence. Okay.
Opo.
Sa November 23, ilan ang admission niya against interest?
Ang sinasabi ko pong admission against interest,
This
yung
is a new
November
question.
26.
This is a new question. If you evaluated well the November 23 video, is there any circumstance in that video that you believe that the Vice President made admissions against her interest?
Plain ho yung utterance niya doon, Your Honor. Yung nakita lang ho namin, yung utterances niya. Insofar as I'm concerned, yung admission against interest nangyari nung November 26.
Mr. Witness, sagutin niyo na lang ako. Lahat ng admissions are utterances.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Admissions is verbal. Diba? Hindi ito yung parang admission sa court. Pwede mo i-admit yung documentary evidence, pwede yung object evidence, pwede yung statements. When we talk about admissions against interest, especially in context of what we're talking about, may statement na laban sa interest niya.
Yes, sir.
So tinatanong ko dun sa buong video, meron ka bang nakita? Wala. Yes or no lang yun, meron or wala. O meron at wala, hindi yes or no. Kayo nag-evaluate nun eh. Meron o wala? Admissions against her interest.
Yes, sir. The fact na in-utter niya yun.
O which one nga? So meron ilan at ano yun? A little leeway, Mr. Presiding Officer, kasi hindi natukoy masyado yung tanong.
Senator Judge Alan may proceed.
Yeah. So which statement that? That one you're mentioning now. So yung sagot mo, meron.
Ang understanding ko, sir, nung sinabi ko yan, I'm referring to the November 26, 2024.
Mr. Witness, paulit-ulit tayo.
Yes, sir.
Burahin mo na yung pinag-uusapan natin you're referring to. I'm asking you a direct question.
Yes,
Sa
sir.
November 23, meron o wala bang statements na you will consider in your professional as a lawyer and as an NBI agent in charge of investigating this? Meron ba siyang admissions against interest?
Ang tinutukoy ko lang po again, Your Honor, yung 26.
No, I don't care.
Wala po yung 23.
I'm sorry. I don't care, Mr. Presiding Officer, kung anong tinutukoy mo. I'm asking you a direct question. November 23, video. Meron o wala siyang admissions against her interest doon?
Attorney Lotok, yes, no, I do not know, I do not remember. We're referring to November 23, not 26.
I do not know, sir. Ang
You do not know.
ang nire-refer ko na...
Don't tell me na. So you do not know. Okay. When she said, kung papatayin ako, may kausap na ako, patayin niyo yung tatlo. Is that an admission against interest? Yes or no?
Based on that utterance, sir, yes, I think so.
Yes. O kakasabi mo lang kanina, I don't know. Ngayon, yes. O ano pa? Ano pa sa video na yon na admission against interest? Meron o wala? Or I don't know?
Yung utterances na yun, sir,
Sir, bukod nga doon.
To me, sir, yung utterances na yon, that's admission against
Sir,
interest.
klaro na yon. Tinanong ka na ng presiding officer, sagot mo, I don't know. Tinanong kita ng diretso na sa video, biglang you know, biglang sasabihin mo na yun utterance na yon. So ang tanong ko na ngayon, bukod doon, aside from that,
Sir, ulitin ko po yung sagot ko.
no, you don't need to answer.
Yung sinabi ko po na
no, I'm
admission
asking
against
you,
interest.
aside from the utterance, the statement, na kung papatayin nila ako, patayin sila, is there any other utterance during in that video that you would consider admission against
In so far
interest?
as I remember, wala na po yun.
Wala na, okay. When the Vice President said, yung pinamigay sa DepEd, isn't that an admission against her interest kung may pinamigay?
Siya po yung namigay, sir?
So, ikaw ang nanood ng video, ikaw nag-evaluate, ako pa magsasabi sa iyo kung ano laman ng video. Akala ko ba, tinignan nyo ng mabuti yung video? Bakit hindi mo alam yung laman ng video?
DSW, sir, pwede ko pong tingnan yung sinasabi
No,
niyo.
so you do not know what the alaman ng video?
Again, tinignan ko po ang video one time and ang nag-review po ng video yung agent on case.
Yes, but you're the agent in charge and you're the one who filed the affidavit. Okay,
Yes, sir.
next question. Nung sinabing mag-people power, tapos ang sinabi niya, hindi yun yung solusyon. O kung nag-people power, sino magiging presidente? Kung nag-people power at mawawala ang Pangulong Marcos, sino magiging presidente?
Siya, sir. Opo.
So hindi ba admission against her interest din? Siguro sa interest niya, maging presidente. Pero ang sinabi niya, what?
I think so, sir.
Okay. So I mentioned 3. So my next question. When you have an admission against interest, do you take the whole admission or you can cut it up into parts?
Again, Your Honor, yung
If my admission against interest is 1 sentence or 1 paragraph or 3 sentences, can you take 1 sentence and say yun lang yung admission and the 2 other sentences are not? Can you divide
I think
it
it
up?
should be the whole, sir.
The whole sentence. So the whole sentence niya, nung sinabi niyang kung papatayin ako, is pinagbibintangan niya yung 3 na papatayin siya. So if you say it's an admission against interest and you believe it, you also have to believe na papatayin siya nung 3. The same thing, if you're going to say na namudmud siya sa DepEd, ang sinabi niya galing sa First Lady yung pera. So you're also going to have to believe that. So if you're going to believe her, na yung ibang sinabi is seditious, ngayon sinabi nga niya, hindi solusyon ng people power. So as the evaluator, bakit hindi consistent yung evaluation niyo nung video?
No, I think yung in so far as people power is concerned, I think sinabi niya yata na, yes ma'am, natutuwa ako dun sa ginagawa niyo.
Hindi.
Your Honor. Pwede ko pong ulitin. Your Honor.
Let the record speak for itself. It's on
Yes, Your
page 26. Same paragraph nung sinabi niyang papatayin, no? But having said that, last question, no? Bakit sa cybercrime ni-refer? Ba't hindi sa anti-terrorism or sinabi mo meron intel group? Bakit sa cybercrime?
Your Honor, my cyber aspect po kasi yung violation.
Okay. What are the aspects of the alleged threat? One is the cybercrime grave threat. The other one is a possible assassination threat, right?
No, Your Honor. Yung sinasabi kong my cyber aspect, the utterances was made through
Through cyber. And the utterance, in accordance with you, constitute grave threat.
Yes, sir.
But if she meant it, and if it is true, and if it is accurate, it's also an assassination plot, isn't it? Kung totoo yung utterance niya, napapapatay kita, may kausap na ako, hindi ba assassination plot yun?
Maybe, sir, yes.
No, hindi maybe. NBI kayo nag-aano eh. May nagsabi sa presidente, papatayin kita. How much plain can that be as an assassination plot?
That's why, sir, may validation process.
That's
sir.
why may validation. Kaya yung tanong ko, ano ba mas mabigat, yung assassination plot o yung cyber aspect?
No, Your Honor.
No, diretso yung tanong. Hindi no. Anong mas mabigat? It's a direct question. If you were NBI director now or whatever, you were PNP chief, dalawang iniimbestigahan mo, yung cyber aspect na pwedeng cyber libel, pwedeng grave threat, at yung assassination plot, ano mas mabigat sa dalawa? Ano yung prioritize mo?
Your Honor, yung cyber aspect, based on the law, mag-a-add siya ng 1 degree higher doon sa...
So, magdidebate tayo kung anong higher, papabayaan mong mapatay ang presidente.
Kindly wind up, Senator
Yes,
Judge
I'm
Allen.
winding up. The point I want to make, Mr. President, is whether I was the PSC, the Executive Secretary, NBI, or an ordinary citizen, my first concern is wag mapatay ang presidente.
Yes, sir.
But instead of the NBI director taking it upon himself, giving it to the anti-terrorist or to the intelligence, sa cybercrime binigay.
Your Honor, again, uulitin ko, yung utterances was made through information and
So,
communication technology. Kaya may
I hope if
jurisdiction
any
on
one of my
cybercrime
colleagues here
division.
become president, magbago yung attitude ng NBI. Mas importante pala cyber kaso sa buhay ng presidente.
Not necessarily, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
Mr. President.
Noted. Counsel for respondent is recognized for his recross, if any.
Just a few points, Your Honor.
You may proceed, sir, when you're ready.
So during your testimony, you mentioned that an unsigned document is a mere scrap of paper.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you also said on redirect that the lack of signature is a typographical error.
No, yung typographical error based sa tanong sa akin kanina ng abogado, yung misspelling, yung mali yung docket number, kung mali man yun, yun, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, you mentioned on redirect also about the November 26, 2024 press con, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
So after that press con, did you interview VP Sara?
No, sir.
And despite not having interviewed her, you made findings on her mental state.
No findings ng mental state, sir? What do you mean by that?
My question is, despite not having the chance to interview VP Sara, nevertheless, you included in your investigation or findings about her mental state.
Based on the series of events, Your Honor, as I have said, state of mind can be shown through the overt acts, Your Honor.
Okay. So you were also asked about persistence, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, the subject video was on November 23, 2024, correct?
Yes, sir.
But to demonstrate persistence, you referred to a press con on October 18, 2024.
No, sir. To demonstrate persistence, yung nature ng utterances niya, ulitin ko, sir, in-explain ko muna, the nature of the instruction was persistent because of the fact na ang sabi niya, huwag kang tumigil hanggat hindi mo sila mapapatay. And then, i-reiterate niya to noong November 26. Now, as to consistency, patterns, at persistence, pagdating sa galit niya sa presidente, yung October 18, may kinalaman kasi ang unang sinabi niya doon, walang kinukonsidera kong number 1 hanggang number 2 lang yung Pilipinas na to. Then pangalawa, I imagine myself cutting his head. Then kinumpara namin siya noong November 23.
Already satisfied with the answer?
Consistent po yung...
What was that, counsel for respondent?
We are already satisfied. No need to
I think
elaborate.
already answered, yes.
All right. Last two questions. So you said that the February 14, 2025 DOJ certification found your findings or your investigation or the case that you filed sufficient.
Based on the certification, the DOJ stated that you have complied all the elements of the crime charge, sir.
All right. So this DOJ evaluation, does this amount to a final verdict of guilt or innocence by VP Sara?
Your Honor, ang maliwanag ho doon, for purposes of preliminary investigation. Wala akong sinabing na final verdict, Your Honor.
All right. So you also mentioned the concept of open source investigation.
Yes, sir.
Does this include internet browsing?
Yes, sir.
So you Google search, kasama ba yun?
Yes, sir.
So you Google search mga news articles,
Yes, sir.
websites, videos, correct?
Yes, sir.
Including mga YouTube videos.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll show you a short video and I'll ask one final question.
Kindly show the video, Tech.
worry ko lang is yung mga anak ko dahil hindi talaga yan sila sanay na wala ako. Nasanay kasi sila, lumaki kasi sila na katabi ko yan sila sa tulog. Yan yung worry ko, yung aking mga anak. Dahil nawalan sila ng nanay. Yan yung hindi ko kasi magawa remotely, yung pagiging nanay. Pero yung trabaho dito at trabaho dyan sa Pilipinas, kung saan man ako, ay magawa ko siya remotely.
So in the course of your open source investigation, did you encounter this video?
Hindi ko po na-encounter yan, sir.
Nothing further, Your Honors.
Before we let go of the witness, the presiding officer just has a few points. Number one, to clarify, Attorney Lotok,
Yes
sa
po.
pagtatanong po ni Senate President Wen Gatchalian kanina, sabi niyo po, maliban sa mga salitang binanggit o sinambit ng ikalawang Pangulo na may nakausap na siya na gagawa ng kanyang kautosang patayin, di umano, ang tatlong opisyal ng bansa, wala po kayong hawak na ibang ebidensyang may kinausap na nga siya.
Insofar as the Cybercrime Division is concerned, sir, opo.
Pangalawa po, sabi niyo po, sa ilang katanungan pinukul sa inyo, na hindi nyo alam kung totoo o hindi ang ilang mga sinabi ng ikalawang Pangulo. Sa video na napanood po ninyo ng isang beses, yung mahigit 2 oras, sa kabuuan po, totoo po yun. Ang kaya nyo lang pong sabihin na sinabi niya yon, pero kung totoo man yun o hindi, wala po kayo sa lugar sabihin na totoo nga ba lahat ng mga sinabi niya.
Well, una, since Vice Presidente siya at base doon sa circumstansya na galit siya at nagbabato siya ng mga pagmumura, we believe na totoo yung mga sinasabi niya, Your Honor.
And as an advisement perhaps to the senator judges and the public as well, an admission against interest, as mentioned in the rules, is nothing really special. An admission against interest under the rules is simply an exception to the hearsay rule, where a person who is about to die or is unavailable to testify, his statements against his or her interest may be admitted, testified to by another person, not the weight we seem to be giving admission against interest na parang umami na dahil labag sa interest niya yun. The rules are specific and the purpose also is specific. It is an exception rather, to the hearsay rule. If there are no other points or questions to be raised by any of the senator judges, Attorney, talagang photo finish. Senator Judge Padilla is recognized for his intervention.
Pwede po bang magtanong
You have 2
ulit?
minutes, sir. Yes, of course, sir.
Apo. Kanina po nabanggit kanina ng isang senador na meron pong 2 kaso sa panahon ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte na inimbestigahan niyo po, isang 150 million, tsaka ano po yung isa?
Ang naalala ko, Your Honor, yung kay Mas yata, yung sa... Hindi ho ako may hawak noon, Your Honor, hindi ho ang Cybercrime Division. I think ibang unit ang nanghuli, although ang Cybercrime Division yata yung nag-file. Pero hindi ho ako may hawak.
Hindi po panahon niyo. Pero ano pong nangyari doon? Na-dismiss po ba yan?
Ang alam ko na-dismiss yata, sir.
Nagsagawa din po ba sila ng masusing investigasyon?
Hindi ko po masasagot, hindi ho ako nag-imbestiga, Your Honor.
Wala po kayong nabalitaan kung gumawa din sila ng masusing investigasyon?
Again, Your Honor, kung ibang unit ho ang nagsagawa noon, wala po akong personal knowledge.
Opo. Kasi po doon malinaw na mayroong involved na pera. Kasi alam niyo, matagal din po ako nakulong. 3 taon din po ako sa kulungan. Marami po ako nakasama dyan na mga hired killers. Katunayan, pati po hindi hired killers, nakasama ko din po dyan. Sila Tihangki. Katunayan, excuse po sa aking seatmate. Madami po talaga. Pag usapin po kasi ng pera, talagang may threat. Pero sa tingin po ba nyo yung mga nangyari nung November 23, birthday ko pa po yun.
Opo.
Sa tingin nyo po ba, walang involved na kahit anong pera dito, walang kahit anong threat pa rin po ba yon sa palagay ninyo? Kasi ang hired killer, pera-pera po yan.
based on our findings, grave threats, Your Honor, and inciting to sedition.
Meron po ba, inciting, okay. Maganda pong pag-usapan yan. Doon po ba, pagkatapos po ba noong November 23 na mga sinabi ng ating Vice Presidente, meron po bang ginawa ang ating mga taong bayan para maging inciting for sedition? Nagbunga po ba ito?
Your Honor, ulitin ko po yung sagot ko. In the case of People versus Nabong, hindi ho necessary...
Pakisagot na lang po kung yes or no, kung meron po bang naganap na pagkilos ang mga tao.
Insofar as yung Seditious Act, wala kaming nakita, sir.
Wala po, opo. Meron pa pong isang tanong. Doon po ba sa mga naganap na maraming protesta, merong Trillion March, merong kung ano-anong march, nakita niyo po ba doon ang Vice Presidente? Yes or no lang po?
Saan pong protesta, Your
Sa
Honor?
lahat po ng protesta na ganap, Dilawan, Tinklawan, Duterte, ano man po.
But wala akong personal knowledge, sir.
Yes or no lang po, nakita niyo po ba doon? Si Vice Presidente, nagsalita po ba siya? Nagbigay po ba siya ng panahon dyan sa mga yan?
Insofar as I'm concerned, wala akong nakita, sir.
Wala pong nakita. Okay lang po, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Judge Padilla. Attorney Lutok, you are excused, and the court thanks you for your time and cooperation with this impeachment court.
Thank you very
sir.
much, Your Honor.
May I ask, good that the Honorable Defensor is standing up. Tomorrow, the subpoena for Attorney Lopez is only for today and tomorrow. The subpoena thus far, yesterday rather, and today. The subpoena for Captain Bello is for, no subpoena, but she is scheduled to testify tomorrow. So what is your pleasure, Honorable Defensor?
Your Honors, before we proceed any further, the prosecution respectfully requests for a 5-minute recess. Just 5 minutes, Your Honor.
You can do your thing, Honorable Defensor, while I recognize Senator Judge, with the permission of Senator Judge Cayetano, of course.
Maybe they can...
Can they do their thing?
Yes, I was going to suggest that. I have a question about tomorrow. Maybe the defense can do their huddle while I ask
Yes,
this
exactly the
question.
point. Exactly the
The
point.
question naman is...
Senator Cayetano, Alan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer, Mr. Senate President. This is addressed actually to the presiding officer, Senate President, and our colleagues. So, are we going to have the oral arguments tomorrow about
Yes.
the... So, I think we all received the...
Copies have been
copies
distributed. The
last night.
memoranda of the parties have been
Yeah.
distributed
More or
to the
less,
Senator
it's
Judges.
33 and 32 pages, so that's 60 pages. I'm beginning to study it today because I had to study about other matters tomorrow. So the second question is, while we will have the oral arguments tomorrow, will we decide as a body tomorrow, or we have a little bit more time to digest what was discussed tomorrow and then decide on
We will
Monday?
decide as a body tomorrow, because my understanding is the parties will be needing time to analyze whatever data will be produced should the subpoenas be granted.
But that is for article, the subpoenas, for,
That is correct, Your Honor. That is for Article 2.
2, which we will start hearing in August, right?
As of now, it is the last one, but as we had talked
Yeah.
about earlier, the prosecutors can decide to bump it up depending
Yes.
on their strategy
So-
to present evidence.
No, so I'm not moving that we postpone the oral arguments tomorrow because I think we're ready to listen. But I do want to make an intelligent decision, and there are many, many issues from the test nga of if it's definite, is it a fishing expedition, 20 years, or, so there's so many issues. Would it be possible that we also have our own huddle tomorrow before we decide, just in case we're not... I mean, if everyone's ready to decide tomorrow, who am I to stop the decision? But I just don't want to make a mistake in deciding at medyo makapal tong assuming we read it once tonight, maybe once tomorrow.
The presiding officer yields to the Senate President with respect to the calling of a caucus tomorrow and what time? Para siya magpakain, hindi ako.
Yeah. Well, let me leave it to the presiding officer and Senate President. My proposal is after the oral arguments and after all the senator judges have asked their questions, just so that we have one more night or one weekend to go through it and to... If we're not going to vote on it and we have a consensus, then no problem. And there's a precedent because we did this during the time of the late Senate President Enrile when it came to issues that were of utmost importance that could decide the impeachment trial results one way or the other, but that do have implications in terms of precedents, especially ito pinag-uusapan natin AMLA at saka BIR.
The Senate President is recognized to respond.
I share the same feeling with Senator Judge Alan Cayetano. I started reading both memos, and indeed it's quite lengthy and complicated, and we need to also consult our legal teams. So may I propose, Mr. Presiding Officer, to have a caucus tomorrow at 10 a.m. So that we can thoroughly discuss this.
After.
See, Mr. Senate President, I mean, I really thank you that twice already during impeachment, without talking, we have the same wavelength. May I propose that if we have a caucus after, just so that we can,
So
for all we
during the
know,
break.
maganda yung discussion and we're enlightened by the prosecution. And,
So during the break.
And to be honest, I'll probably still be reading this at 10 a.m. No?
If that is the pleasure of the body, we can have a caucus maybe after. No?
During the break. when we
After
call a
the
break.
after the oral arguments, we'll pause for a break and have a caucus.
We can call
that
a
time.
longer break, Senator Judge.
Thank you,
All right.
Senate President and
Thank you.
Senator.
Is the Honorable Defensor ready after his 5-minute huddle?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, may I request the court to recognize the counsel for the panel of prosecutors, Attorney Lorna Pataho Kapunan, Your Honor.
Attorney Kapunan, counsel for the prosecutors, is recognized. What do you have for us, ma'am?
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Attorney Lorna Pataho Kapunan, Counsel for the Prosecutors, under the control and supervision of the House Panel of Prosecutors. If I may, Your Honors.
Please proceed.
I can see Senator Panfilo Lacson coming in. At narinig ko po yung kanyang interview nung sinabi po niya na baka magkaapo na tayo dito at magkaroon na ng national bird, hindi pa tapos ang impeachment trial na to. We have seen, this is,
Ma'am, you said national bird?
hindi po ba, Senator Lacson? Well, somebody who interviewed you said that you said that.
It must be another senator judge or another person.
Talking about birds, okay.
Please proceed, ma'am.
I never talked about birds.
Then definitely my information was hearsay. In any event, in the last 4 trial days, we have had several hours of legal calisthenics, direct examination, cross-examination, and today we also had redirect and recross. A total of approximately 8 hours a day, and 2 witnesses. Today we are supposed to hear a subpoenaed witness, Attorney Zulaika Lopez. And after her, another witness, subpoenaed or called to appear here, Captain Belinda Bello. After hearing the two competent and credible witnesses, not expert witness, but through their credentials showed that they were competent to testify on the matters that they were asked to authenticate. After evaluating through these two witnesses 19 documentary evidence from Agent Kalilong and 45 documentary evidence from our recent witness, Attorney Lotok, and after the very clarificatory and probing questions of our senator judges, after evaluation, and not only during this 5-minute huddle, pero hurdle na rin po yun. It is the wisdom of the public prosecutors as expressed through this representation that we find it totally unnecessary, redundant, and a surplusage to still present Attorney Sulaika Lopez and as well Captain Belinda Bello. Let me just state for the record the reasons why. Had we been able to present Attorney Sulueca Lopez, she would have proven 3 things, or we would want to have proven 3 things. First, that she was personally present inside that detention center when the Vice President uttered the video, Exhibit P-4-10, when she uttered the statements that she had contracted, that she had already contracted a killer, and you have heard this already before, and so on, to kill the President, the First Lady, and the Speaker of the House. That would have been the first offer of testimony, that she was personally present inside that detention center when the Vice President uttered those statements. Admitted already, admitted by no less than Attorney Vinluan here, who in his closing remarks or opening remarks mentioned more than 10 times that that press conference occurred, Attorney Sulueta and the Vice President was there, and that in that press conference or a live broadcast, the Vice President did utter the statements we have heard time and again, Exhibit P-4-10. Although Attorney Vinluan says, yes, 10 times, I counted just now. I counted that the admission there as to the utterance was made 10 times. Although Attorney Vinluan did say that it is a matter of interpretation. He says that the Vice President did not act as Vice President when she made those utterances. He attempted to give a huge picture to the Vice President that she had reacted as mother, sister, brother? No. And that she was not reacting in her capacity as Vice President. But in that statement that Attorney Vinluan mentioned, there was admission as to the utterances being made more than 10 times. He said, our interpretation is wrong, but again, that is left to the discretion of this court. So that was the first offer. The fact that there were utterances made in a press conference and that Attorney Sulueca was president. No need to present Attorney Lopez for this purpose. Secondly, our second purpose was that Attorney Zulueta Lopez was not only present, but so were other media personnel present there who heard the utterances of the Vice President. And lastly, we would have offered Attorney Zulueta Lopez Zulaika Lopez to confirm the authenticity and the provenance of that video, Exhibit P-4-10. Totally unnecessary because, why? Because the defense themselves used the very same video, said exhibit, in their defense when they showed Attorney Zulueta crying and allegedly complaining about the violation of our human rights. So by their own admission, there is no question about this video. And so it is our contention, and we hereby manifest that with these admissions on file, and thank you to the senator judges for the clarificatory questions propounded. And I'd specifically like to say thank you to Senator Tito Sen, Vicente Soto, for, in his brief statement, by virtue of clarificatory, brought us back to what this trial is all about. We are not a criminal court, and much time has been spent. Is there grave threats? Is there inciting to sedition? All of this is relevant. But in the context of, is it by doing these grave threats and by inciting to sedition, does it make the Vice President a violator of the Constitution? Does it make her a violator of her solemn oath of office? Is this a high crime? Is this betrayal of public trust? That is what this impeachment is all about. It is not what Attorney Binluan says. If it is grave threats, by all means, we admit. Prison, correctional, 6 months to 6 years. And that's a fine of 2,000 pesos. If it is sedition, the same. MTC should be trying these crimes, or the RTC. But that's not what this is all
Attorney
about.
Gapunan,
Okay.
with your indulgence, kindly
Last sentence.
take up the matter of the presentation of witnesses.
Correct.
Because that is the subject at hand.
So going back to why we are making this manifestation, we have said, and I have said on behalf of the public prosecutors, Your Honors, that we will no longer be presenting Attorney Zulueta and Zulaika Lopez. And, Your Honors, in addition, because the testimony of Captain Belinda Bello is merely corroborative, she would have been presented only to corroborate the fact that there was a transfer order made in the detention center, and that transfer order had been the subject of the video or press conference of November 23, 2024. And so, Your Honors, we are also no longer going to call as a witness Captain Belinda Bello. With that, Your Honor, I think the reminder of Senator Lacson that the accused, that the respondent is entitled to a speedy trial. Prosecution, the prosecutors would want this to be a reminder to all. We are doing our part we have reduced trial dates by lessening our presentation on this article by 2 witnesses, Your Honor. And therefore, we would also request that the same be also a reminder to the defense counsels or the counsels for the defense. Your Honor, please, in my 48 years of practice as a private lawyer, and I'm grateful for this chance, I have learned 2 things in litigation. The first thing I have learned is, first, learn when to present and not to present a witness. And second, learn when to stop. And I think that should be our takeaway from this manifestation. We have decided from the evidence presented and from everything in consideration that we will not present these 2 witnesses. And on that note, I will also say, we know when to stop. And this is where I stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Counsel, for the.
Mr. Presiding
Gusto
Officer.
daling malito kasi sa sinabi ni Ma'am Lorna.
Just a quick reply, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Yes, Senate President Gatchalian is recognized.
First of all, let me thank the prosecution for foregoing the 2 other witnesses that is supposed to be presented this week. I was actually talking to our presiding officer earlier on, and I was just computing the number of witnesses. Based on our pre-trial order, the prosecution will present 57 witnesses. The respondent will present 45 witnesses. That's a total of 102 witnesses. At the rate we are going, of 2 days per witness, we will finish in 17 months. That's a year and a half, or a year and 5 months to be exact. So any chance of shortening the proceedings will be highly appreciated. Thank you.
Presiding officer also thanks the Counsel for Private Prosecutors. So therefore, tomorrow, what is calendared for our agenda is the disposition of the 2 requests for subpoena by the counsel, by the panel of prosecutors, namely motion for the issuance of a subpoena for bank records and AMLC records, and a motion for the issuance of subpoena ducis tecum, as well for the BIR records that we returned via a sealed box. Given that there are no other witnesses to be presented tomorrow, because Director Matibag was scheduled based on an earlier decision of the court on Monday, July 20. I hope we will have sufficient time to discuss these 2 subpoenas tomorrow in our trial. To remind, both parties shall be given 10 minutes to discuss the 2 motions, given that, and this will be discussed jointly already, given that you filed your respective memoranda jointly as well, discussing the 2 issues. You will be given 3 minutes by way of rebuttal and 3 minutes by way of surrebuttal, should it be necessary. Thereafter, the senator judges will proceed to discuss the matter in caucus and thereafter in plenary. Yes, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano.
May I just ask, through the presiding officer, is 10 minutes enough?
Your Honor, we will be
Because-
raising our request to make it at least 15 minutes
Yes,
per party.
because, sorry, I'll just use myself as an example now. I want to draw the line between a fishing expedition and this is definite, di ba? And of course, if you can answer it in your presentation, better. I don't have to ask questions anymore. And I can tell you very honestly, I'm really interested in this issue. So may I ask my dear colleagues, can we, since we don't have any other witness tomorrow, I think it will go faster if we give them more time and ourselves less time. Maybe 15 or 20 minutes each, and then
15?
maybe, Mr. President, Mr. Presiding Officer, you said 3 minutes rebut. I mean, can we give them more time to rebut each other? I'd rather they be rebutting each other than rebutting us But I think this will really be an issue that will educate all of us, and it'll really be good for the impeachment court and the Filipino people. So may I ask
The Honorable Defensor, 15 minutes.
Yes, Your Honor, 15 minutes per argument and 10 minutes per party on rebuttal, Your Honor.
So 15 and 10.
Yes, Your Honor, if
How
the
about
defense
counsel
will
for
agree.
respondent?
We will just submit, Your Honor, to the discretion of this honorable court.
15 minutes for the oral arguments in chief, and then 10 minutes by way of rebuttal and rebuttal. And a reminder to the senator judges. Each senator judge can speak for a maximum only of 10 minutes and for a total of 1 hour for each side. Meaning to say, the side to grant the motion and the side not to grant the motion. So kindly discuss also among yourselves to make use of the time with respect to taking up and tackling your position if you are for or against the motion, so that the period of time will be maximized. Senator Judge Soto is recognized. Yes, sir.
Did I hear you right, Mr. Presiding Officer, that you're going to allow us each 10 minutes?
But in no
That's,
case to
I'm
exceed
sure
a maximum of 1 hour, Senator
Yeah,
Judge Soto.
for everybody, but I'm sure not everybody will avail of 10 minutes. But if we do, that's 240 minutes.
Again, to reiterate, Senator Judge Soto, a total of 1 hour for each side, but a maximum of 10 minutes per Senator Judge each time they stand to speak. So it will be a maximum of 2 hours for this interlocutory issue of the motion for subpoena. Yes, Senator Judge Allen.
With the permission of former Senate President Soto, let me clarify. 2 minutes to ask clarificatory question. You're referring to the 10 minutes, 1 hour, when there's a motion already.
Yes.
So that assumes, dear Senator Judges, that we don't have a consensus after the caucus, and then we're going to debate it. Yeah, yes, that's why it won't last that long. I mean, assuming we all have questions na 2 minutes, so it's 48
No,
minutes,
if
give
I
or
may
take.
correct, Senator
Then
Judge.
the 10 minutes and 1 hour is if we have a debate whether or not to grant
If I may
it,
correct,
diba?
Senator Judge Allen, the 2 minutes, if at all, applies to evidentiary issues and questions that we can throw to either party or the witness. But in this case, after an elongated oral presentation by both sides, both in chief and on rebuttal, we should just listen and then go into caucus and decide if we can agree. If not,
Yes.
then we go out and
And-
debate for a maximum of 2 hours, 1 hour on
Agree.
each side.
Each side, but those are different subpoenas, different for the BIR and the
As I said,
AMLA.
Senator Judge Allen.
To your point, former Senate President Soto, that's times 2 pa.
No. Senator Judge Allen, as I said earlier, since the memoranda was submitted by the parties jointly on these twin motions, we will be deciding on it jointly as well.
But would it be possible that we all agree, let's say, on the AMLA but not agree on the BIR, or vice versa, or we both agree on both? Because there are different laws governing AMLA and BIR. Anyway, that's why we'll have a caucus.
Yes, so may I suggest, Mr. Presiding Officer, and of course, my esteemed colleague, may I suggest that we decide on how long each senator would be given after we caucus?
Yes.
Instead of setting it now, let's set the prosecution and the defense and and then we'll go into caucus, and then we decide in caucus how long will we be giving each member if we so decide to still debate here instead of getting into a consensus in the caucus.
Senator Judge Soto, I completely agree. However, the presiding officer was merely citing what's written in our rules right now. We can, of course, change it by agreeing amongst ourselves to lower it or increase it. Hopefully not in the direction of increasing it.
Hopefully after the caucus, we will have a win-cheese solution.
Thank you, Senator Judge Allen. Any other points? Senator Judge Pangilinan is recognized.
Very quickly, Mr. President, this is pertains to an earlier manifestation. I beg the indulgence of our colleagues because it took me some time to retrieve the file. This is reference to my earlier interpellation. The witness on the matter of the case of People versus Mas. Earlier, it was manifested that this was an inciting to sedition case, which was dismissed by the regional trial court. Just for the record, it was dismissed by the regional trial court, not on the merits. It was dismissed by the Olongapo court because on June 24, by Judge Richard Paradesa of the Olongapo Regional Trial Court, because it was an unlawful arrest. In other words, Mr. Mas was arrested unlawfully, and therefore the Regional Trial Court had no jurisdiction, and so the motion to quash was was granted, rather, and the case was dismissed. In other words, it was not dismissed on the merits. For the record, Mr. President.
Yes, Honorable Defensor, just to remind you that tomorrow, kindly give us a list of your witnesses for the following week for the information of the court as well as for the other party.
We will, if necessary, Your Honors.
And will you be needing a subpoena for Director Matibag for Monday?
we won't need a subpoena anymore for Director Matibag for Monday's testimony, Your Honor.
Okay, then no need to issue a subpoena. Any other points the counsel for respondent would like to raise?
No
Your
more,
Honor, just to, before we end, can we
Yes,
request
Honorable
the
Defensor.
clerk of court to reseal the evidence, especially?
Yes, after we adjourn, may I request the counsel, assisting counsels for the parties to kindly meet and reseal the USBs that were opened by the witness earlier amongst yourselves.
Your Honors, we have no other matters for consideration this evening, Your Honor.
There being no other business to be taken up by the court, trial is hereby adjourned until 2 p.m. of Wednesday, July 15, 2026. Thank you very much to everyone.